Hey everybody, Professor Matt, Balance Jiu-Jitsu, and I'm here today to share some tips to those of you who are new to the sport of Jiu-Jitsu. Tip number 1, enjoy the training. This is a hobby or a pastime for most people. You're learning to fight, but you should also be having fun. It'll be hard at times and you may question if it's worth it, but you gotta be enjoying it deep down. Tip number 2, relax. Every beginner gets told to relax about 100 times. It'll take time, but it's important for productive training. What we roughly mean is this: pace yourself. Don't try to go all out for 30 seconds and then be unable to carry on rolling without passing out or throwing up. Learn that gassing sucks and that a purple complexion suits nobody. Don't be so tense. It'll slow you down and make you tire quicker. Not every muscle in your body has to be working at full contraction the whole time. Don't freak out in a bad position or when you're caught in a sub. It's just training. By staying calm and reacting instead of panicking, you'll learn a lot more and you won't get hurt. Try not to do moves 100 times faster than needed or that your skill level allows. Remember, mechanics and leverage are important too. Don't try to bully moves. Use what is there, not just what you want. Also, learning when to let go of a move is as important as when to go for one. Head squeezing sucks. You're there to learn, not to try and headlock someone to death. Tip number 3, breathe. Beginners tense up. They tend to hold their breath too. Try to keep a regular breathing pattern. Sounds simple, but you'd be surprised how hard it can be when under pressure. Tip number 4, patience. If you want to learn anything and get good, it takes time. You aren't going to be tapping everyone out after a few weeks training. Have patience and put in the work. It'll come. And that brings us to tip number 5, consistency. A session here and there isn't going to do it. You have to make a schedule that's really consistent, full of regular classes. Consistency and attitude is also important. Tip number 6 is focus. You know simply turning up isn't going to do it. No one else can make you good. A coach can only guide you. It's all up to you. Pay attention and try to get as much out of the class as possible. You should take something from every drill and roll. After rolling, think about all the things that you did really well. Also think about the things that you didn't do so well and how you would go about fixing them. Tip number 7, ask questions. If you don't understand something, then ask. You're there to learn. Ask more experienced students you train with as well as the coach. Tip number 8, tap out. Don't get hurt. If you're caught, tap. You're supposed to get tapped. It's part of the game. If you can escape, go for it. But if you're going to get hurt, tap. You don't actually have to be in pain with gritted teeth to tap. Sometimes that is too late. Tip 9, be careful with submissions. Apply the final portion of submissions with slow, even pressure. Do not jerk them on without control. By all means, enter quickly into the technique, but when it comes to finishing, you gotta control the limb and apply pressure slowly. When you have a submission applied, it's your partner's job to tap, but it's yours to notice the tap. So tip 10, be aware of the tap. Don't just wildly apply the submission without being aware of your opponent. They may not be able to use their hands on you and could signal vocally, tapping the mat, or by stamping their feet. Tip 11, injuries. Take injuries seriously. If you pick up an injury, stop and get it treated before you go back on the mat. Missing the end of a session to ice an injury and skipping the rest of the week is better than creating a problem which will blight your training for months or even years. Seriously, if you need to take time off, do it. Your body will thank you for it. Tip number 12, don't beat yourself up. In the beginning, even if you think you're doing good, a lot of the times you end up losing. You will get tapped lots. Remember that everyone went through the same thing, even the best. Even with some experience, you'll always get caught and have days when you get schooled by people you normally beat. Bad sessions are a part of training. Don't get discouraged. Have patience, keep training, and try to enjoy the workout. Tip 13, watch other people roll. You can learn a lot from watching others. Being able to see and understand what others are doing will increase your understanding. You may be able to pick up a technique, detail, or movement that will help your game. Everyone has their own way of grappling. Different styles can teach you different things. Also, studying someone better than you and modeling how they roll can be a good way to make progress. Tip 14, hygiene. Shouldn't really need to include this, but you never know. Wash yourself every session. Keep your nails trimmed. Wash your gear every session. Tip 15, position, position, position. Good position skills are what makes a good grappler. Pin escapes and guard passing are two of the most important aspects of your game. They are what you are going to need when you're rolling with better opponents. Add to that your pinning game and sweeps. This should be your focus, not just when you start training, but always. Submissions are great fun, but good positional skills are where it's at. They are what get you to the sub and keep you out of bad positions. Tip 16. The fundamentals are your friends. Spending the time on the fundamentals is the way to get good at grappling. The basics may seem boring after a few months, but in time you'll see the depth of understanding there is to gain in their application. Little nuances will become apparent and you will have the foundation to take your game to the next level. Tip number 18, learn to do the things you hate to do. We all have areas we need to train but try to put off. It may be your penetration step, your leg kick, or your back escapes. You need to learn to enjoy this training. It is focusing on these areas that improve your game, not relying on your strong moves. Train the things you hate in the knowledge you're making progress and putting in that extra bit of effort others are not. Tip number 19, performance is your guide. When evaluating your physical skills in fighting or martial arts, the only thing that matters is performance. Performance is measured by success against a resisting opponent, for example, sparring and live drilling. This probably could have been 2 tips, but I decided to just put them together. So tip number 20, rest and nutrition. Get plenty of sleep and rest. Your body needs time for recuperation, repair, and growth. Overtraining, tiredness, and stress will all hamper performance. Your nutrition is your fuel. You must find a good balance in your food, drink, and supplements to support your training. Remember, fighting ability doesn't mean squat in the big picture. If it brings enjoyment to your life, then that's brilliant. If you're new to the sport of Jiu-Jitsu, I hope those tips help you out. We would like to thank everybody for sticking around to the end of the video. If you just started Jiu-Jitsu, hit that like button and leave a comment. Share this video with someone you know who may have just started Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Now go train and train hard, my friends.